Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. Last night, just before we were ready to start the live, the news broke obviously that John Fallon had sadly passed away, and we did cut the live short last night due to respect to John and his family and their time of need. But John will know that football does go on, and especially Celtic. John Fallon was a fantastic figure in Celtic's history. He was best known as the Lisbon Lions backup keeper, and he was a celebrated club man. He was at any Celtic event that you could get him at. The highlights for John: he was born on the 16th of August 1940 in Cambuslang. Fallon supported Celtic from childhood. Fantastic part of the world, Cambuslang. He joined Celtic from Fallon United back in 1958. He made his first team debut in September 1959 against Clyde. He became the starting goalkeeper by 1963, appearing in Celtic's 1964 Cup Winners' Cup campaign. The understudy role, he was the keeper that was one of the mainstays from the Barron years. 8 years Celtic went without winning a trophy until Jock Stein came in, and Jock Stein then brought in Ronnie Simpson. Fallon lost his first team spot but remained understudy, a valued member of the club, and for many years to come. In 1967, obviously Celtic won the Champions League, as it's called today. He went on to lose his medal, and he was emotionally reunited with it in 2019. In 1970, the racing club tie, he was called into action after Ronnie Simpson was injured with a projectile. Are the Rangers in disguise? He would see the funny side of that, and he did have a very good sense of humour, and it was interesting. Well, it was heartwarming to see that a good friend of mine who used to also sit in 111, who now stays in Australia, had just been texting Ronnie just a couple of weeks ago, John, asking how he was, and John told him then that he was in hospital, not keeping too well, but he'll fight it on, and sadly he didn't manage to fight it on. Anyway, he made over 200 appearances for Celtic. He helped Celtic through a golden era, including the 1965 Scottish Cup victory under Stein. When he retired from Celtic, he was an outspoken character. In his autobiography, Keeping Paradise, he openly criticised Jock Stein and his man management, and he felt unfairly treated despite his contributions. And that's what I liked about him. You know, he just told it as it is, and he did. And having met him on various occasions, and the last picture I have of him is with my dad at an event a few years back. It was an emotional evening last night. But we do go on. Celtic years, he was at Celtic from 1958 to 1971, an unbelievable amount of time. He won 6 league titles, 2 Scottish Cups, 5 League Cups, and 1 European Cup. Yes, the big one, the Champions League. After Celtic, he was at Motherwell from 1971 to 1972, and then Morton from 1972 to 1973. Fantastic years they were. John, maybe the Lisbon Lion who was never on the pitch that night, but Jock Stein placed him on the bench in an important position, so to help intimidate. In the 1960s, he went from the Barron years to Jock Stein's triumphs. He helped build a talented pipeline and team ethos and delivered European glory. Off the field, he was a lifelong Celtic fan. Many supporters, thousands. I mean, there must have been hundreds of thousands of Celtic fans have met him. He remained a true Celtic man to the end. And that's what I loved about him. You know, he just, if he didn't like you, he fucking told you. That's one thing. If it didn't like you, he told you. Anyway, there was another bit of frenzy last night on the social media platform X, as Yang was pictured in a Norwich shirt, seemingly. Yang, who has signalled his desire to move to England. There was a fake picture I'm not even going to give it it's not Yang. He's far too skinny to be Yang. But anyway, it looks like and there's a possibility that it could be a fake AI picture or something. But it did the frenzy last night where people are saying, fuck, Yang's signed for Norwich. That means we've only got Jamesy Forrest, who's 185 years old, and Dies and Maeda as wingers. But anyway, it shows him in the yellow shirt, but it's heavily blurred. And it was probably, it maybe even been Yang himself, who's just sitting at home. Do you know what those pesky Asians are like with their knowledge of all things technical and computerized and fake generated stuff? I mean, it all comes from there, doesn't it? Anyway, it was a bit of a laugh, if you ask me, and a lot of people were spitting their dummy out over the fact that Yang's signed for, and a lot of people saying, good, get rid of him. Anyway, there's one story that keeps on going away, that will not go away, and when we're coming up to just 5 weeks left of the transfer window, I'm not going to say his name because people are getting a bit fed up of his name, and if we do sign him, it'll be fantastic. If we don't, Celtic are obviously looking at elsewhere. I think with the people out there that's been linked with Celtic, it's going to be, and there's the other side of the coin, is nobody's came in for him as yet. Now, for somebody that's meant to be one of the best up-and-coming midfield players in Scotland, you think that the team would have had an offer already for him, but they haven't, and maybe clubs are just waiting to try and get him for a bargain basement fee towards the end of the window. It's still going to cost up to £6 million, people are suggesting, but as it gets closer to the end of the window, Motherwell will have to just take what they get, won't they? At the end of the day. Anyway, Celtic have made a £1.5 million bid for a £5 million player. Yep, typical Celtic. After Nico Kuhn being sold to Como for 17 million, and the loss of Jota, and Louis Palmer going out on loan because he wanted away, and just we all know the situation. There is Celtic put in a bid for a go-ahead Eagles player, Jacob, and they went in with a 1.5 million offer. I know what you're saying, and I know how you're feeling, and I could feel you shaking your head, spitting your cornflakes out, being serial losers for everyone. But it's Celtic at their best, isn't it? I mean, obviously Jota is out until next year. We do need players in the forward department for backup at best. And we do need, for the fact that we're going into 4 competitions again, we're going to try and get into the Champions League. And going in low ball, it's just Celtic all over. Now, Celtic have also been spoken about when it comes to Etienne Uti. And this is another one that the defender. This is an interesting one because with Cameron Carter-Vickers out again at such an important time of the season, I'm beginning to think that Cameron Carter-Vickers has some kind of fear of going into the Champions League, because if he's not going to be 100% fit again, and he is back in training, but he hasn't played one single pre-season game, so his match fitness isn't there. We are 1 month away now from the Champions League qualifier. Our most important game of the season is played in 4 weeks' time, and it's unbelievable to think that we're not as strong. The squad is stronger. People say, yes, we've brought in, five players already? I think 5 or 6 players it is. And I think that we will still try to bring in at least another 5 players just to get the squad in a place where it kind of was last season. There's only 2 players that came into the squad this summer that have improved the squad. Kieran Tierney and Benji. They have made the squad better. Every other player that's came in has just made the numbers up that we've lost, really. So we're still looking for improvements in the forward positions. Is Yamada that person? Is Yamada the person to come in and be an absolute firecracker in front of goals? well, Brendan Rodgers says, look, he's faster than Dyson, he's faster than Kyogo. Well, if he is, that doesn't mean he's going to score goals. Jamesy Forrest 10 years ago was faster than Kyogo and Dyson Mider put together. And he's still he's on the first 10 yards, he's still one of the fastest swingers. When it comes to if we can get Etienne Ute into the club, he's a big commanding lad, and it looks like if we can, I'd like to get that piece of business done ASAP. But you know what Celtic are like, they're dragging their heels. It's going to get to the end of this window again, and there is a video of Brendan Rodgers from last pre-season towards the end of the window. I think it was the day after the window closed. And Brendan Rodgers did say, I think that the club could have acted quicker with getting bodies in. We're doing the exact same again this season. And people will start their speculations saying it's the board not wanting Brendan Rodgers to have his way. It's the board trying to force Brendan Rodgers out. I just think that it's a board that seem to not... I'm going to say that, do they not respect Brendan as much as they respected Ange Postecoglou? Because Ange got his players in quick. The amount of players that were signed on the 1st of January, as soon as the transfer window opens, get the player in. You know, but under Brendan, they seem to just push and negotiations. And is it Nicholson's fault? Let's just blame him. Let's just name and shame him. It's Nicholson that does the negotiations with any club. And is it his lackadaisical approach to negotiations and, you know, trying to get deals done? Does he not see the urgency? Is it some kind of mentality that's come from a bygone era? Because let's face it, there are hundreds and thousands of clubs all around Europe getting good bits of business done fast. You know, and it's not the early end of the window now. We're now in the thick of things, and we seem to have a reoccurring thing at Celtic. I think we're in a fantastic place. I think the squad is in a good place, but it needs help. It needs a little bit more help to see it over the season. We've all seen what happened towards the end of last season, and I don't want that to happen again, because I want the treble this year. I want the treble, and I want us to do better in the European context. But anyway, but we'll see if Celtic bring in. I think that there's a defender to come in. I think there's a midfielder to come in. I think there's 2 wingers and possibly another striker to come in. There's the 5 players that I think that will come in before the end of the window. And all that's going to do is make the squad slightly better, because we are lacking in numbers, big style. And especially with a lot of the younger players heading out the door on loan. So... Well, yesterday was a sad evening for Celtic fans all around the world. Mr. Fallon himself will know that he would tell us to just get on with it. It's like we can take a little moment like we did last night and respect the man and his family. But he knows that Celtic go on, the football goes on, and it never stops from then on. Keeping in paradise. Rest in peace, Mr. John Fallon.